Every now and then a number comes along that just doesn't feel real. We're going to talk about one of those today. Because what we're witnessing right now isn't just another tech trend. It's the single biggest, most audacious bet in the history of the industry. The absolutely staggering amount of cash big tech is throwing at artificial intelligence. So let's get right into it. Here it is, $650 billion. Yeah, you heard that right. And get this, that's the projected spending for just a handful of companies in the year 2026 alone. This is an absolute tidal wave of money, and it's all flowing in one direction, to build and completely dominate the future of AI. So how do you even wrap your head around a number like that? Well, let's try. We're talking about nation-state level spending here. This is 3 times what Russia spends on its entire military for a year. It's 10 times NASA's budget for exploring the cosmos. You could take that money and just buy Tesla, the whole company. It's basically the entire economic output of a country like Switzerland. This isn't just an investment, you see. It's a force that's reshaping the entire global economy as we speak. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. We're calling this tech's biggest bet ever. And that's not an exaggeration. This is a gamble on a scale we have never seen before. So who are the high rollers at this table? Well, Amazon is leading the pack, committing an unbelievable $225 billion, mostly through its cloud division, AWS. But Google and Microsoft are right there on their heels, and Meta is all in too. When you add it all up, these 4 giants alone make up that entire $650 billion figure. Okay, so the big question is, where is all this money actually going? What are they buying with it? Let's follow the money trail. And here's where it gets really interesting. A whopping 70% of all that cash is going into hard physical stuff, the specialized computer chips and the massive buildings to house them. Another 15%, that's just for the electricity to keep the lights on. It's kind of wild, but the actual software and the brilliant people writing it, that's a surprisingly small slice of this gigantic pie. So let's dig into the single biggest line item, the brains of the whole operation, the GPUs. We're talking about graphics processing units. To give you an idea, just one server packed with 8 of NVIDIA's top-tier H100 chips will set you back about $300,000. Think about that. That's the price of a house for one machine, and they need hundreds of thousands of them. That's the cost of entry to this game. Now, where do you put all these house-priced servers? You put them in these new AI data centers, which honestly are more like digital cities than buildings. A single one can chew through a gigawatt of power. That's enough electricity for a real city of over 500,000 people. It just shows you the mind-blowing physical scale of this supposedly digital revolution. And of course, you need people to actually build and run all this stuff. In the AI world, the war for talent is absolutely brutal. The top engineers, the best of the best, are pulling in salaries between $500,000 and $1 million a year. Companies are literally hiring PhD students before they've even finished their dissertations. It's a frenzy. Now, when you have this much money flying around, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It completely shakes things up. It creates a new economic order with some very, very clear winners and some potentially devastating losers. And if we're going to talk about winners, there is one undisputed king of the AI gold rush, NVIDIA. Just look at this. Their market value exploded from around $360 billion to over $2 trillion. That's not just growth, that's a complete rewriting of the tech industry hierarchy. They're the ones selling the picks and shovels in this gold rush, and boy, is it paying off. But it's not just NVIDIA. There are a bunch of silent winners here too. Energy companies are suddenly seeing a massive, unexpected boom. Construction firms that know how to build these incredibly complex facilities, they're signing billion-dollar deals. Even the companies making the boring stuff like high-tech cooling systems and fiber optic cables are making a fortune. But on the other side of that coin, you have disruption. Let's take a company like Grammarly. For years, they were the king of their hill, a writing assistant valued at $13 billion. But now they have to compete with AI models that are often free and even more powerful. Their valuation has been absolutely hammered. And that story is a huge existential threat for a whole generation of software companies. And the disruption, well, it goes way beyond just corporations. According to a report from Goldman Sachs, AI could end up impacting 300 million jobs around the world. That number is staggering.
It points to a massive and, let's be honest, probably painful shift for the entire global workforce.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. Is this whole thing a sustainable revolution that's building a brave new world? Or is it a massive speculative bubble just waiting to pop? You know, you can't help but feel a little deja vu. We've seen this kind of hype before, right? Sky-high valuations, huge promises to change the world. Is this really just a sequel to the dot-com bust of the early 2000s? While there are some really smart people on both sides of this argument, the people screaming bubble point to those insane valuations, the cutthroat competition, and very real physical limits. Like, where do you get all the power and water? But the other side says, no, 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 this time is different. AI is already solving tangible, real-world problems, from discovering new drugs to automating customer service. These companies have business models that actually work, and they're already saving other businesses a ton of money. So let's zoom out for a second. Let's look past the stock prices and the quarterly earnings and ask, what is the bigger picture here? What kind of future are we actually building with all this money and technology? Because there's a hidden cost that's not on any balance sheet. The environmental toll is just immense. A single AI data center can drink up to 5 million liters of water every single day. That's a huge problem, especially in places that are already struggling with drought. And by 2030, the carbon footprint of the entire AI industry could be as big as the entire country of Japan. And then there's the issue of power. Not electricity this time, but control. When you have just 4 companies pouring this much money into something, it creates a barrier to entry that's almost impossible for anyone else to overcome. And that means the future of what might be humanity's most important technology could end up in the hands of a very, very small group of people. That raises some serious questions about competition, about innovation, and even about democracy itself. So, as we wrap this up, we're left with this one final question. This $650 billion bet is without a doubt going to change our world. But are we actively building a better future for everyone, or are we accidentally creating brand new problems on a scale that we can't even begin to control? That really is the question that all of us need to start asking.